Hi everybody, Garrett Rosendahl, 5'2" Fence and Dirt. It has been a little while since I've posted a video. I have a lot of content recorded, several of them edited, but life has looked a little different for the last month. In April, mid-April, my wife and I had a little baby boy. Dutch is what we named him, and born at home. I actually got to deliver my little boy, and that was fantastic. Born healthy, no complications whatsoever, and got to spend, he was born on a Wednesday, spend all Wednesday with him, and then Thursday afternoon, his O2 levels were dropping. The midwife came by and determined that his O2 levels were down around 80%. And so we took him straight to the hospital, the local hospital. They started getting some, I believe it was glucose in him. And because the sugar levels were low, in conjunction with the respiratory issue, fast heart rate, but assumed it was nutritional because he was super well mannered. I don't know how else to say it. He wasn't fussy, just a content baby boy, but he wasn't latching. And so we got him in there. We thought it might be nutritional. That's why the elevated heart rate, the lower oxygen. And so they got that in, no change. Ended up getting to the point where they put him on a ventilator, and which is just heartbreaking. They tried CPAP machine, trying to get his oxygen levels up. Got him on the ventilator, and once they put him on the ventilator, our local hospital has to send him out for higher care at that point. It's their policy. They can't support him. And so brought a helicopter in. They flew him to a hospital down in Phoenix. My wife, she'd had a baby the day before. It had been a long day. She went home to rest. I went down with my dad to the valley, Phoenix. And when I got there, to Banner, they said, yeah, he's not here. And I said, I don't know how you lose an infant. I mean, he's 40 hours old. Where is he? They said, oh, well, we're transferring him to Phoenix Children's Hospital. And so back and forth. Turns out he was at Banner, but he was getting ready to be transported. So we went in to the NICU, and that's where they broke the news that he suffered from HLHS, hypoplastic, I believe I'm saying that right, left heart syndrome. So the left side of his heart was severely underdeveloped. They said about 70+% smaller than it needed to be. And the only recourse was surgery that left unchecked. He had hours to live, and had we not gone into the hospital, we probably would have went to bed that night, and he would have succumbed to it overnight. And so they transferred him to Phoenix Children, and same thing, HLHS. The recourse was an immediate surgery, and if he made it through the surgery, which was the chances were lower due to his physical state, if he made it through, he would then be in the hospital for 6 months on constant medications, feeding tube, everything. And then he would go in for his second surgery at about 4 to 6 months. And at that point, once he was released, he'd stay in the hospital for a while after that. Once he is released, he'd be on medications and weakened immune system, but that surgery should, if he made it through, would carry him to hopefully around the age of 5, where he'd have another surgery. And that would hopefully carry him, into his late 20s, early 30s, where his liver would start to fail due to the way they have to route the blood in order to make him viable, for those handful of years. And he wouldn't be eligible for a liver transplant without a heart transplant, because his heart's still broken. So they put a new liver in there, and ultimately his body would kill it. And he would be on medications for the rest of his life. He would just, we have 3 healthy kids that play hard and roughhouse, and then, Dutch would, if he made it, have immune problems, medication, constant hospital visits, and ultimately, as much as we wanted to make a lot of memories with him, we're people of faith, and it wasn't our job to play God in this situation, and we weren't going to selfishly pick a life of suffering for our precious boy just so that we could enjoy his company more. And so ultimately we made the decision to make him comfortable. And we got to, once they pulled him off the ventilator, we had, I think, about eight hours where we got to just hold him and love him until he ultimately passed in our arms. And so it's been sad, still sad. It was 3 weeks ago that he passed, and it's not been easy. It's pretty easy to get caught up in life, and I see people's posts all the time, not directly related, or I don't necessarily know them, but I see posts where someone's lost a child, and your heart breaks and you're sad, but you get so busy, you get kind of disconnected from everything, and then you're in it and you're like just broken. And it's been rough. Only got to know this little boy for a couple days, 3 days. We had him for 3 days before he passed. And it's been rough. It's been rough on my wife. She's postpartum on top of all of this, and she's handling it, fantastic. And we're just, we're working through it. And so life has looked a lot different the last month, and so I haven't felt like posting anything. And that's where we're at. So we're moving forward, and some people we made posts about what had happened to the boy, but some people took that and opened up donations for us, and we've just been immensely blessed with all of it. We have immense peace in the situation. It's horribly sad. Sadness doesn't go away, but we have peace, if that makes sense. And so the amount of support and love from people, my wife and I both grew up in the area where we live, and just the amount of support and love has been just tremendous. And the amount of, I guess, the lack of disconnect in all these other people, like I said, we all get busy, and it can be hard to really sympathize, at least for me sometimes. And these people have just shown so much love, and so that's been pretty spectacular. And still an uphill battle, even though our boy passed, we're still getting the medical bills. We got 2 helicopter flights on top of it, and so, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just money. And I don't know, my wife hates it when I say it, but you're born, you work, and you die. And so at the end of it, I'm going to be working at something until I die. And so if this season in life I'm working to pay for some medical bills, then so be it. But we sure were blessed with all the outpouring of love and support, but also blessed with the little time we had with Dutch. And so it's been good. And we're getting them back on our feet. So enough about that. I just burned up 10 minutes of that. I am out on a job site today. As you can see, this machine has not made an appearance on one of my videos, and that's because it is at least new to me. This is a 600 hour E88 that I bought out of rent. I bought it at 540 hours, thereabouts, and bought it from Bingham Equipment of Prescott Valley. And they let me demo this machine, demoed it on a house pad I was doing, and then they essentially allowed me to make a list of all the things it needed, and they sent it out, got it up to snuff, and then delivered it back to me at my yard. And so now it's up here in Ash Fork, Arizona, where you can see we are kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's I don't know if I can zoom, can't zoom on the selfie mode, but you can see a gate over there that we put the gate in. We've cleared all this land. I've got about 40 trees that it's burned down to a pretty small pile now, but 40 of these cedars that we piled up and burned, or I piled up and burned. And then over here, right there, is an Elgen septic system that we put in. Hit rock at, I think, like 26 inches. And so I ended up hammering it out to 4 foot so I could put adequate sand below it. Had to hammer out the whole tank. But it's going good. I'm going to finish backfilling. We've had heavy rains for the last 3 days, but fortunately this ground is kind of soaking it up. But today I'm backfilling it. I don't have any GoPros with me, so I probably won't film much of the process. I do have some drone footage of the fire and stacking that brush. But I'll trench the inlet, and then I'll do this pad and help them set a shed and do a little cleanup, and that'll be it for this week here. This is my customer's home away from home. They're bringing up their camp trailer. They're going to park it here and just enjoy the beauty of this area and a little bit of solitude, and it's going to be great. It's a fun project to kind of develop a little piece of land for someone to come enjoy, and not a huge project, but I sure have enjoyed it. So I'll stop running my mouth and I'll get some footage up for the rest of this project. And I just wanted to give you guys an update, and I certainly appreciate, I understand I don't have a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but the ones I have been very loyal and very engaging, and so I kind of wanted to give a brief update. And yeah, the posting the videos kind of fell low on the priority list, but we'll start getting some more up. And like I said, I have a handful edited and in the queue. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Enjoy this footage of what I've collected this morning, and I'll post some more as I work today.